Let's go. Welcome back into the Skooshi Sport Podcast and the Redzone report in the Wildcard Weekend, baby. We have made it to the playoffs after 18 long regular season weeks. We have made it down to the 14 best teams of the year, and it's the Wildcard playoffs. So obviously we have 12 teams playing this weekend. Denver and Seattle finishing the number one seed, getting the first week bye. But we have 6 cracking matchups for the NFL playoffs this weekend, and I'm not going to have a best bet for every single game of these ones. I've got 3 best bets for you in the Wildcard Weekend. We're still going to run through the player props, of course, and I've got a really good showing. I believe I've got 5 player props throughout the 6 games, so I've definitely got a good showing from there. Then we're going to go through our multi of the week. So I'm going to go through every game, give you a leg for every single game, 6 legs instead of your 5. And then we're going to do, instead of a 2+ touchdown Hail Mary, I'm going to give you a first touchdown parlay Hail Mary. 3 guys to score the first touchdown across the 6 games. Obviously, there will be no rapid rundown. I am going to cover all the 6 games for you and tell you where I'm leaning and give you a full breakdown of where I'm potentially at. I said I've got 3 best bets for you. So half the other games, I don't have a bet on them, but I do have a lean. I'll give you my sort of analysis and synopsis and where I'm heading. Obviously, no Supercoach chat this week. Supercoach season is over, finishing inside the top 10%. It's respectable. You know, the debut season, inaugural season of NFL Supercoach was a success overall, but I would hope to do a whole lot better myself, definitely going into next season, but definitely fun overall. Last week, to finish off the season in week 18, we had 7 best bets. We went 4 and 3 on those. Had a couple bad ones, like Texans wasn't good. Philly, we went Philly -7, then they decided to rest all their starters, which we knew, but didn't think they'd rest everyone. And then we had over 50.5 in Detroit and Chicago, which is a shocking bet. But we went 4 and 3, 3 and 2 on the props, so a winning week. We had 6 props, but Pearsall was a late out there, so still ticking along at 67% on player props throughout the back half of the season. Absolutely destroying it, looking to go 5-0 this week in the player props. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Our first game, my Carolina Panthers, baby, NFC South champions, are hosting the LA Rams here. We are 10.5-point home dogs, which is absolutely wild to think about in a playoff game. Total sits around the 46.5 mark here. We have seen a little bit of Rams movement this week to move it from 10 to 10.5. Not too much on the total. It does look like there is going to be a little bit of rain about, so you'd say that maybe suits Carolina a bit. However, Carolina did play in the rain last week against Tampa Bay, and we looked pretty rough. We looked like we weren't up for the occasion, and honestly, like, we can look at week 13 and say, yeah, we beat the Rams 31-28 in week 13. I think you've got to disregard that. If anything, it's probably more motivation for the Rams. Stafford, he had 8 interceptions all year. He threw 3 of those in that game, which is pretty nuts. So it's 37.5% of his interceptions were in that game. I can't see him doing 3 picks again. I think he'll be laser focused. He's never lost as a favorite in the wild card. I get it. It's a 10-point favorite, most likely to continue that trend. So he never lost as a favorite in the playoffs, but I have a feeling this game could get away pretty quickly from Carolina. I can imagine us being really amped on the first couple of drives, but you know, if we've got to get this offense going. If this offense doesn't score in the first couple of drives, I think we're going to struggle to keep away this Rams offense. We won 31-28 in week 13. That was with a pick 6 as well. You take away the pick 6, it's 28-24, and the Rams were very, very off in that game. So it could have been, honestly, a bigger result. They had no problem strolling down the field. That included a pick in the end zone by Stafford in that game as well, and a pick 6. So plenty of missed opportunity, definitely, by the Rams in that game, and I just don't think the scoreline actually dictates how the game actually went. Yes, we won the game. Yes, I was stoked about it, but I think we could be in for a little wake-up call. I feel like we've been riding like these roller coaster highs and lows all season. We lose to the bad teams, and then we've beaten like the Packers and the Rams, and then we go down and have a crap game and lose to the Saints at home the week after, and then we've lost the last. We lost the last 2 in a row. Lost to the Bucks. We lost to the Saints, and it's just I don't know. Bryce Young is going to have one of his best games, not just to win, but even potentially cover. And the Rams have the better offense, they have the better defense, and that's exactly why they're 10-point favorites. But Rams are absolutely superior compared to the Panthers. And I'd love to say that Panthers have a chance. I just don't see it. You've got Devontae Adams coming back. You've got Puka Nacua there as well. You've got Stafford, probably going to be the MVP. Your defense is way better than what, Panthers is. And I think they're going to have no issue stopping Bryce Young. Don't think they're going to have any issue stopping the run. It could be tight after the first quarter, but as soon as that first touchdown happens for the Rams, I think the floodgates could open, unfortunately, there. I honestly think the Rams could cover this number. I'm just nowhere near willing to lay 10.5 on the road in a playoff game, considering there might be weather about. It's a Rams or pass situation, unfortunately, for me here. I'd love to see the Panthers compete. I just don't see where we do actually compete, though. I just don't see what facets. I don't see it on offense. I don't see it on defense. I don't see it in special teams. I just don't really see it. So, Rams or pass for me. Not enough for me to get to the window with the Rams, though. But let's move on. This is one of probably my favorite matchup of the week, honestly, and that is the third matchup between these teams of the year. The Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears NFC North divisional matchup. Absolute classic matchup. These two teams met in about week 14 or 15, I believe it was, in Green Bay. Green Bay getting the win by 7 in that matchup there. Caleb Williams throwing a pick at the end to finalize that game for the Packers. Then they go and meet in week 17 in Chicago, where honestly, the Packers were well up in that game. Jordan Love goes down with a head knock. Malik Willis comes in. Malik Willis comes in, honestly does a really good job, and they're up, what was it, 20 to, no, sorry, it was literally, 16 to 6 to the Packers with 2 minutes to go. Bears kick a field goal, recover the onside kick, go score a touchdown, tied up 16 apiece, and then go score a touchdown overtime to win 22 to 16. Packers fumble it on 4th and 1 in overtime as well. Packers absolutely lost that game. And then the Bears go and lose last week at home to Detroit as well. I don't think they're looking that great at the moment. Yeah, but the thing is, they're the absolute talk of the town, right? The Bears, how good are they looking? How many comeback wins have they had? Caleb Williams is looking so special. They've been put in this limelight. NFC North Division champions. The limelight is everywhere. The public is all over the Chicago Bears in this game. We have seen 30% of the bets on the Packers in this game, yet we've seen the Packers move from dogs to favorites in this game. What does that honestly tell you? What does it tell you? From my experience over across the years, it tells me the sharps are in the Packers. This is lining up to be a trap game. If you're on the Bears here, take the Packers on the money line here. Jordan Love is back. He's healthy for the Packers. He's got his main guy, Christian Watson, there. I think Christian Watson's going to ball out in this game as well. Does smell of a Josh Jacobs game as well. He's due for a big breakout game, and I think they'll be able to stop Caleb Williams in his first ever playoff game as well. And Jordan Love, I love what he gets in the playoffs. He's had some really good wins on the road in playoffs before. I think we're going to see it here. They should have won in Chicago a few weeks ago, and they're going to win in Chicago when the time matters. Green Bay on the money line, my first best bet of the Wildcard Weekend. Crossing over, I'm just doing it all in chronological order. So that game is on Sunday morning here, prime time, so Saturday night in the US. We're moving on to the first game of the Monday morning here, Sunday in the US. So we've got the Buffalo Bills at the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've got Buffalo coming into town, into Florida, and they are a little bit of a favorite in this one, which is interesting. Very high total of 52 here. They've opened -1, they've stayed -1, and the total is just tickled to the over. These lines have hardly moved right during the week. We've had 18 weeks now to get a gauge on how these teams perform. These lines are super solid. They are hardly moving at all. This one here is interesting because you're going to look at the Bills as a team that, honestly, it seems like destiny for them. Mahomes isn't in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson's not in the playoffs. Joe Burrow's not in the playoffs. It should seem like a walk in the park for Josh Allen to finally get his opportunity to go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. No. Everyone is underestimating this Jacksonville team. Literally so many people underestimating. This team, Jacksonville team, literally 2 weeks ago went into Denver and won 34-20, beat the number 1 seed, killed one of the best defenses in the league. They are looking hot at the moment. Trevor Lawrence is on fire at the moment. If you were to pick MVP from like the back half of the season, he easily gets it. Easily, I think. He has been on absolute fire. And this Jags defense is very underrated. And they, like Liam Cohen says, a small market team, or Sean Payton says, a small market team, they go very, very under the line compared to like your Buffalo Bills who have been there like and got into the playoffs before. Jacksonville, you look at their offense. Trevor Lawrence is playing better than Josh Allen at the moment. You've got better receivers on Jacksonville compared to Buffalo. You've got you've got the leading rusher on Buffalo. Maybe that's the one advantage you have on the Buffalo offense compared to Jags. Jags overall got the better offense. Let's have a look at the defense. Bills defense usually gets shredded. Jacksonville defense has been very, very solid. Who's got the better defense in this game? Jacksonville. Who's got the home field here? Jacksonville. And Jacksonville are dogs. Line the two up. Better offense, better defense, home field advantage. Jacksonville is your answer here. I know you might be thinking, the Bills can't get knocked out in the wild card. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Jacksonville all the way, Betty. Duval. I like Liam Cohen as well. Coaching matchup. I think Liam Cohen has showed he's better coaching than Sean McDermott this year. But honestly, if the Bills lose, I think Sean McDermott's out. I think he's had too many years of like making the playoffs and failing. I think he's cursed. I don't think they've won a playoff game with Sean McDermott on the road ever as well. They've been very close, but haven't done it. If this was flipped and this was in Buffalo, Jacksonville heading to cold weather, the opinions change a little bit there. But you've got Jacksonville in hot weather. You've got a Bills team that's used to the cold weather at this time. The advantage is all to Jacksonville in all facets of this game, and you're getting them at a plus money price. Not quite plus money, but they're getting them as underdogs. It just doesn't make sense. Again, the public is on Buffalo in this game. Give me Jacksonville. Give me Duval. Duval money line. Jags money line. Trevor Lawrence is going to go and beat Josh Allen and knock him out of the playoffs. Moving on to the the fourth game of the Wildcard Weekend. We've got the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champions, in the 7 a.m. game here. Eagles are a minus 4.5 point favorite, a total of 44.5, which we have seen some under money for. We have seen some Eagles money too. This was 3.5, now 4.5, total 46.5 down to 44.5. We know it's going to be cold in Philadelphia. Usually with a San Francisco game, you're probably looking at overs. With a Philadelphia game, though, you're looking at unders, especially a playoff game for me. Philadelphia home game in a playoff game, you're looking at unders as well. However, I think all the advantage does go to Philadelphia in this game. It just screams of experience, just screams of home field advantage, screams of the weather's advantage to them. Screams of taking advantage of this banged up San Francisco defense. They'll be able to run the ball. I think Barkley will have a really strong game here. They're going to be able to pass it as well. How is San Francisco going to go in the cold with Brock Purdy against this Philly defense, which has been really good this season, despite, again, the Eagles offense has been trash a lot of the year. No one's really talked about the defense. And now the 49ers offense coming off getting pretty much shut out against Seattle last week. 3 points. Brock Purdy threw a couple of interceptions. No touchdown passes. I love Philadelphia in this game. I'm going to go a different approach. I just don't want to rely on the Philly offense to score points. I'm going to take the San Francisco team total under 19.5 here. If you can get 20, it's obviously a bit better. You get that little bit key number, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. I just don't see where the touchdowns come from, especially looking at last week's game with the 49ers. I thought their offense was very poor. Now you're coming up not against as a good defense as Seattle's, but the Eagles' defense, especially come playoff time, is going to be very, very solid. Jordan Davis is going to be able to stop this run game, especially with Christian McCaffrey. Then you're going to have to rely on Brock Purdy for your yardage to get it down the field, and I just don't know if you can rely on him at the moment. Considering his circumstances, when we see him on prime time, he has absolutely stunk it up. This is not quite prime time, but we are looking at literally a playoff game where he's playing nowhere near as good as his rookie season. San Francisco team total under 19.5 there. 2 more games to go in your wildcard weekend. There's your 3 best bets, by the way, and those 3 there. But let's preview the other 2 games. The Chargers at the Patriots. This is prime time Sunday night football. Interesting matchup here. Patriots minus 3.5 point favorites. Total of 46. This opened minus 3.5. Total of 46.5. Has seen hardly any movement in this one here. There's a couple sort of trends in this one here. You've got dome teams heading on the road, and whether it's literally like in single digits in Celsius, 1-14 straight up or against the spread. However, you look at the other, you've got like literally underdog playoff teams that have made the playoffs last year against a playoff team that has not made the playoffs last year. Literally 16-1 against the spread. 2 very different angles to look at. And I get the Patriots angle where like they're just being so good all season. But then I can get the Chargers angle where the Patriots have had such a cakewalk schedule that they've only really had, it feels like, a few tough games, which is 2 against Buffalo where they did win in Buffalo, only by 3 though. And then they've won, they sort of 2-2 against playoff teams this year. Only played 4 playoff teams. That includes the Bills twice. They blew out Carolina, and then they lost to the Steelers in week 3. It's very interesting. It would not shock me to go see the Chargers go and win this game. I just don't know if I can quite get there with a dome team that's used to hot weather going into someone that's going to be freezing cold in prime time. That's my only thing. If it was like in a dome stadium, I'll be all over the Chargers if you're giving me the same line. It's just something about it where it just maybe seems like Patriots win by like 6 or 7. It's just a bit of a weird one for me here, so I can't really get to the window. Not sure about the total either. Don't know if Chargers are going to run the ball a lot. Don't know if they're going to send it. Don't know if they get out to a lead. Patriots have to try and pass it and fight back, and they score a lot of points. No real opinion for me here. Part of me can see the Patriots covering. Part of me can see how the Chargers actually go into New England and win this game and knock the Patriots out of here. So, no lean for me in this one here. Happy to watch and definitely enjoy the matchup though. All right, let's move into the last one. Monday Night Football. This is going to be a cracker. A little bit of an underrated game. You've got the Houston Texans against the Steelers here. Steelers coming off that miraculous, one of the games of the year, games of the decade against the Ravens to get into the playoffs. Texans 3-point favorite on the road though. Total of 39.5. Hardly seen any movement in this one. I think the line's very fair. I think if this went to 3.5, you'd see Steelers money. However, this went to 2.5. I think you see some Texans money. Real hard one. I think the same thing applies, that trend about the degree weather. It's going to be cold in Pittsburgh. Houston sometimes play in a dome. I think it's a retractable roof that they play in. Thing is, you've got a poor Steelers offense, I think, coming up against a wicked defense in Houston. Wicked defense. You've got, some would say, an average Texans offense coming up against an average Pittsburgh defense. Do they stand up, though, in a playoff game? Can you rely on the Texans going on the road to win by more than 3 in a road playoff game in a very, very hard stadium to win against one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever seen? I'm just not quite sure. Honestly, I thought about doing like an Eagles and Texans moneyline parlay. Then I just look at it more. I'm just like thinking, you know what? Maybe Rodgers is maybe his looking like his last ever season. Does he pull something like right out of his back door in this game, get them to the divisional? Does he make a glory run? How does CJ Stroud go in the playoffs? He had a cakewalk win in the wild card last year against the Chargers, where that was more about Justin Herbert throwing. I think he threw 4 picks in that game. It's a very interesting one. I probably lean the Texans, but I just can't quite get there to rely on them winning margin. If they do win and cover, it's definitely them, like their defense shutting down the Steelers. And then I just don't know how the Steelers recover and come back from that huge win last week, but does scream a Tomlin spot as well. So again, just tossing up. Total's very low. I backed the under with Ravens and Steelers in the end, like myself last week. Was cruising. Fourth quarter blitz absolutely killed that. So no opinion for me in this one. Again, happy to watch and just see how these two teams go, right, in playoffs. Very different. You got like a young quarterback against a veteran quarterback. Just two very, very different matchups are happening, but very intrigued to see how it goes. All right, let's get stuck into some player props. Obviously, a little bit of a shorter episode being, like there's no rapid rundown. There's no super coach to chat about. 5 player props for you coming in hot. As I said, it's been easily our best segment all year, going at 67% in the back half of the year. Absolutely flying. Don't have too many losing weeks when it comes to these player props. So I've got 5 for you out of the 6 games, which is wicked. I've managed to find 5 really good edges. I really like these. First one, we're going to go in the Panthers game. I'm going to go Stafford over 265.5 pass yards. Gone over this in the last 7 of 10 games. Looking like he's going to be the MVP favorite. He went for 250 against the Panthers in week 13, but as we spoke about, had one of his worst passing games all season in that game. And I just don't see him doing that again. He only has to find 15 more yards to surpass what he did in that game. I think he should be fine. I think the only way this goes under if the Rams absolutely blow out the Panthers and Stafford, they just start running the ball in the last quarter. But I think as long as the Panthers somewhat stay in the game, I think Stafford is just going to go pass. I think they're going to have no trouble getting the ball down the field. You got Devontae Adams back. You got Puka Nacua back. One of the best wide receiving duos in the league. How are the Panthers going to stop it? Stafford over 265.5 pass yards, unfortunately. Next one, we're going to be a bit different. I don't think I've done this type of bet this year, but it's something I do like, a sneaky one I like, and that is going to be Christian Watson to go over 24.5 in his longest reception. His prop total is around 52, 3.5. The thing with Christian Watson is he's not a big reception load guy. He's not a guy that's going to get you 7 catches for 100 yards. He sometimes can be the guy that goes 2 catches for 50 or 60 yards. And he's the big deep ball guy for Green Bay. A guy that Jordan Love loves going to for the deep ball. He honestly, how many times I feel like in the back half of the season we're seeing a Christian Watson 40-yard touchdown or a 50-yard deep ball straight to Watson. Jordan Love's back. Watson's got his guy back. Jordan Love's got his guy back too. I can just see them two really gelling well together. I assume most people will look at Romeo Doubs last week and what he did with Malik Willis and maybe target him like as a prop. I think Watson, he can go over this in like 1 reception, his first catch of the game, and then maybe not even have a catch for the rest of the game. Although I think if he scores a touchdown, it's going to be a big long ball. You don't often see him get a short touchdown. I love Watson over 24.5 longest reception. Crossing over to the Jags game, Buffalo, one of the worst run defenses, DVOA in the league, easily in the bottom half of the league. This one here, I think if Jags get a lead, they're going to run the ball. I get Trevor Lawrence has been on fire with the arm. Travis Etienne over 64.5 rush yards. I think they're just going to run. I think they'll want to keep the Bills' offense off the field in this game, knowing that's their best asset, best part of their team. I just think they're going to run the ball really well. Liam Cohen is a really good, smart guy on offense as well. He was the offensive coordinator at Tampa Bay, and they were absolutely killing it last year on offense. Now he's moved to Jacksonville, and you can see the offense is absolutely humming. I think he'll have a really smart game plan from this one. And as I said, they've got the lead. They'll run the ball. I think ETN goes definitely over 64.5 rush yards. 2 more to go here. We're going to the Eagles game here, and I spoke about him just a little bit before. Think it's his time to shine. Offensive player of the year last year. Had a bit of a quieter year last year, but it's just this year, but it's just starting to hum at the back end. That is Saquon Barkley over 82.5 rush yards. San Francisco ranked 28th in rush DVOA on defense this season so far through the regular season. 5th worst defense on the run throughout the whole season so far. Pretty bloody crap, right? This just screams of cold weather. You don't want to give the ball to Jalen Hurts. The offense is struggling. Just run the goddamn ball with Saquon Barkley. Get your blocks going. The D-line for San Francisco is not that strong at the moment without Nick Bosa. They've got more injuries for San Francisco as well. They get a lead. They're just going to run the ball, man. Saquon Barkley is going to go over 100 yards in this game. Barkley over 82.5 rush yards. All right, one more prop, and that is going to go. I'm going to keep going with this Texans defense, baby. I'm going to fade the quarterback on the opposing side. Rodgers under 206.5 pass yards here. Again, just completely going with the Texans pass defense here. They are top 3 pass DVOA for the season so far. Gonna be cold. Aaron Rodgers went over that total pretty much in the last 2 drives last week. Now you're coming up against a way better defense in Texans compared to the Ravens here. Rodgers, I think Tomlin, Rodgers is going to struggle, I think. Tomlin, I think, will probably try and look to run the ball if possible. If it's a tight game, I just don't see him throwing these big, long balls. Rodgers doesn't really have the big, deep ball anymore, so not really under threat like we were with Riley Leonard last week, like I learnt. Rodgers under 206.5 pass yards. All right, let's go into the multi of the week. As I said, I usually do 5 legs, match up really good odds. We have cashed 2 of them this season at pretty good odds, so we're well ahead for the season in profit. I'm going to give you 1 leg for each game in the wild card. Give you a little treat. 6 legs that pay up to pretty good odds. Generally will match up to my previous bets that we've seen in the Redzone report so far. Let's get started. Going to go Stafford 275 plus pass yards. We're going to go Packers on the money line. We're going to go Jaguars on the money line. We're going to go Saquon Barkley 100 plus rush yards. We're going to go Ramondre Stevenson over 35.5 rush yards. And we're going to go Aaron Rodgers under 206.5 pass yards. This altogether pays $75. $10 returns a cool $750, baby. That would be a pretty good way to start the year. I'm not going to lie. I'll take $750. 150%. 150%. Let's cash that ticket. 6 legs, paying $75. Let's do it. And then finish it off. Something a little bit different. With all season, we've gone the Hail Mary. 3 guys to score 2+ touchdowns. However, we haven't had any success. And I think playoffs, you might see a little bit lower scoring games. It's a hard market. I'm going to switch it up. 3 players to score the first touchdown. 3 players. To Hail Mary pays $331. 3 players score first touchdown. Devontae Adams. Christian Watson. Saquon Barkley. $331 to 1. $10 returns $3,310. 3 guys for 3 touchdowns. That's all we need. And it's pretty good favorites as well. Teams I think will score the first touchdown and favorable situations. Let's do it, baby. Let's have a 2026. That will do it for the Redzone Report. Wildcard Weekend, baby. We are here. The playoffs are here. Broke down the 6 games for you, giving you my 3 best bets. Let's do a recap. We're going to go Packers on the money line. We're going to go Jaguars on the money line. We're going to go San Francisco team total under 19.5. Player props, we're going to go Stafford over 265.5 pass yards. We're going to go Watson over 24.5 long reception. We're going to go Travis Etienne over 64.5 rush yards. We're going to go Saquon Barkley over 82.5 rush yards. And we're going to go Aaron Rodgers under 206.5 pass yards. Our multi for the week, not 5 legs. We're doing 6 legs this week. Stafford 275 plus pass yards. Packers on the money line. Jaguars on the money line. Saquon Barkley over 100 rush yards. Ramondre Stevens over 35.5 rush yards. And Aaron Rodgers under 206.5 pass yards. Pays $75. $10 returns $750. And then spice it up, baby. First touchdown, Hail Mary. 3 guys, 3 touchdowns to score on first, baby. Devontae Adams, Christian Watson, Saquon Barkley. Pay $331. $10 returns $3,310, baby. Let's get the playoffs started. I am absolutely ripper keen. Oh, I am keen. Keep pounding, baby. I don't give my Panthers a high chance, but boy, I'm going to be supporting them hard. That will do it for this week's episode of the Redzone Report. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to give me a massive like the video and subscribe to the new channel as well. Obviously, issues with my previous channel. Subscribe to the new one as well. I'll be here throughout the whole playoffs and previewing the NRL season coming up as well. Thank you so much for watching and cheers.